My fellow Texans, members of the judiciary, of the legislature, distinguished guests, our friends who are here, it is my pleasure to report that the state of our state is stronger than ever. We led the nation out of the recession and into recovery, remained the nation's prime destination for employers and job seekers alike, in classrooms, on assembly lines, in laboratories, on farms, and in office buildings. Hard-working Texans are today turning their dreams into realities. Those dreams can be as fundamental as supporting their family, creating better opportunities for their children, or they can be as elaborate as launching a new business, harnessing creativity and new technology to create something the world has never seen before. Big and small, dreams become reality in Texas. As real as the success Texans are building, it's you. It's you in this building, in this chamber, who have built the framework that makes it possible for those individuals to succeed. See, Texans have succeeded to the tune of more than 500,000 private sector jobs added over the last 2 years alone. A total of 1.4 million created in the private sector over the past 10 years. Now, there are those who insist our job creation stat doesn't mean much. Because they say we're only creating entry-level, low-paying jobs. The truth is we are creating all kinds of jobs, low-paying jobs, medium-paying jobs, high-paying jobs. We've created jobs in all three categories faster than the national rate over the last 10 years. We need jobs of all sorts, full-time, part-time, long-term, temporary, for people of all backgrounds, career stages, and skill levels. With rare exceptions, no one gets hired out of college as the CEO. But if you want to be a CEO someday, Texas is the right place to start. Our job numbers are more than statistics. They're real stories about hard-working people. Just 3 years ago, Lisa Pounds of Houston, she saw a need for healthier food choices for children, for families. So she left her job as a corporate insurance broker, started her own business. Today, Green Plate Kitchen is a thriving and growing company, employing 9 people, supporting numerous contractors and customers. Even companies that are well established see the wisdom, the value in choosing Texas. Pactiv is a global leader in food packaging and has employed more than 1,000 Texans at 3 different locations in this state, including Representative Cook, 122 in Corsicana. When it was time for the company to build that new state-of-the-art facility, our state's economic climate, along with the famous Texan work ethic, made that decision a lot easier. And today they're building that facility in Corsicana, which means more than 200 jobs, 200 more opportunities for people to better their lives and the lives of their families. And just last June, Texas took another giant leap into commercial space as Xcor Aerospace, a leader in the privatized space race, brought its research and development center to Midland. They're part of a growing Texas presence in this important market, which includes businesses like SpaceX, Blue Origin, Xcor, Pactiv, Green Plate Kitchen. They're reaching for the stars in their own way, right here in Texas. And representatives with those companies are with us today, and I want you to please join me in saying thank you for their contributions as they stand up. So you multiply their stories by thousands, and you understand why what we're doing in Texas is working, and why it's so vitally important that we stay on this upward trajectory. You have realized a simple truth, that bureaucracy doesn't stimulate the economy, it just gets in the way. Texans succeed, not because of bureaucracy, but because of you. Dr. Allen, because of you, because you have ensured that we have accountable, rigorous public schools. Texans succeed because of you, Chairman Zaffarini, because you have helped create a system of accountability and accessibility in higher education. Texans succeed because of you, Chairman Seliger, because you've given them the freedom to do more with the money that they earn. And when private employers have more to spend, both the private and the public sector benefit. Texans succeed, Representative Lozano, because you've given employers the freedom to innovate and expand with consistent and predictable and sensible regulations. And Texans succeed because you, Representative Creighton and Senator Huffman, have let job creators know they won't be frivolously dragged into court and held hostage by individuals to make a quick buck. You have all opened the door, and Texans have responded. And I might add, there are thousands more getting here as fast as they can, Senator. For 8 years in a row, Allied Van Lines has named Texas the nation's top moving destination. We've made inroads in almost every industry sector, from biotech and computer science to energy and finance. Visionary companies like Facebook and Apple and Electronic Arts have expanded right here. When these companies come to Texas, to your districts, they make positive impact on your communities. And even with this mass influx of job seekers realizing their dreams in Texas, our unemployment rate has consistently remained below the national rate. Even with that growth in industry and population, we've maintained this strong commitment to our environment. We lowered ozone levels by 23% between 2000 and 2011. And we cut industrial NOx gas emissions by 60% during that same time span. You see, the tough decisions that we faced last session, they tested our resolve and our dedication to the principles that brought us here. In the end, we remained dedicated to those principles, holding the line on taxes, spending within our means, making the tough decisions, separating wants from needs. The revenue estimate we got earlier this month confirms we made the right decisions at that time. Our bank balance is healthy. Our economy is growing. Our future is limitless. You know, the people running some other states are actually pretty smart. And they see what we've been doing. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, you all should be flattered. In Florida, Rick Scott has enacted very similar policies and is promoting many of the higher education reforms that are yielding promising results right here. In Louisiana, Governor Bobby Jindal has proposed doing away with his state's income tax, part of a move to make his state even more attractive to employers and those that are chasing their dreams. And late last year, the state of Michigan became a right-to-work state. See, Commissioner, Other states are following our lead, and they're embracing the concept of vigorous competition. They're aggressively courting major employers. They're fostering their high-tech industries, and they're investing in their workforce. In short, they want to beat us at our own game. So here in Texas, we can't just maintain the status quo. We have to improve upon it. And we're in a position today to put our financial house in order. And it's time for us to do so. We have an opportunity this session, an opportunity to true up our budget, move away from the budgetary techniques we've come to depend on all too often. We need to pay now what is due now. We should put in place a stronger constitutional limit on spending growth, ensuring it never grows more than the combined rate of inflation and population. We need to make the franchise tax exemption for small businesses permanent. We should continue to scrub the budget for any waste and redundancies, streamlining wherever possible. We also need to do away with the practice of using dedicated funds and specific fees for anything other than the purpose for which they were intended. If we don't need taxpayers' money for that purpose, let's not collect it at all. We've never bought into the notion that if you collect more, you need to spend more. And today I'm calling for a mechanism to be put into place so that when we do bring in more than we need, we'll have the option of returning tax money directly to the people who paid it. See, currently that is not something our Constitution allows, and we need to fix that. Also, while Texas is a low-tax state, let's make the burden on Texans even lower. I know that's a goal that Chairman Hildebrand has. We've talked about this, Harvey, and you've been working towards that, and I thank you for that. In a legislative session where we can see billions of dollars still on the table after we've funded our services and met the needs of an ever-expanding population, I think providing tax relief of at least $1.8 billion over this biennium is a good place to start. And as to how we provide that relief, there are plenty of good ideas out there. And that promises to be a very valuable conversation for us to engage in. And we want to hear more from the taxpayers themselves about how we run things here in Austin, Texas. My office, in fact, has built a website to get their feedback on tax cuts. You can find it at my main site, governor.texas.gov. Thank you, fellas. Thank you. Always get a little cheerleading. Absolutely. Hey, Daddy. You fired up. Thank you. I did. Yeah. Right. I didn't know there would be that much excitement about tax relief. But so just in case anyone didn't hear that, it is gov.texas.gov. And while Washington, D.C. can sometimes seem entirely non-responsive and is increasing the tax burden on Americans and Other states are scrambling to grab every tax dollar that they can. I'm proud that in Texas, we're talking about the best way to give money back to our taxpayers. Our approach is even more important. As Washington raises taxes and the cost of the Affordable Care Act begin to pile up, we've made it clear Texas will not expand Medicaid under the ACA. And Chairwoman Colcourse can attest to this. We won't set up state exchanges either, as Chairman Nelson will attest to. Texas will not drive millions more into an unsustainable system, General, a system that will drive this state into bankruptcy. And we have not changed and will not change our position on that one iota. See, the cost of the ACA will still fall on the backs of individuals and employers across the country. And it falls to us on the state level to do what we can to alleviate the federal burden as much as we can. You know, time and time again, we've seen that when people keep their money, they invest it wisely and selflessly in things important to them. That's why Texas cultural arts community, for example, is thriving, even without unlimited amounts of federal and state money. The Dallas Arts District, the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston, the Bass Performing Hall in Fort Worth, that's just to name a few, have each brought in major amounts of tourism dollars and enriched countless lives. Our surging arts community are yet another reason so many people and employers are choosing to come to Texas. As our population expands and industries grow across our state, the demand is increasing upon the fundamental building blocks for our communities. That's the reason this session we need to deal with our state's infrastructure needs. We must particularly address our growing needs in water and transportation. We got to do it without breaking the budget, and that's going to require some creativity and some out-of-the-box thinking. Now, I happen to believe one of the answers to that lies within our rainy day fund. The rainy day fund was created to ensure we had a sufficient amount in reserve in case of disaster and to maintain Texas' strong credit rating. And due to our economic success, this fund will soon have $12 billion in it, significantly more than the amount we need to meet those obligations. Now, we need to maintain a strong rainy day fund. While we cannot and we will not raid that fund to meet ongoing expenses, we also shouldn't accumulate billions more than's necessary. That's why I support a move to utilize $3.7 billion from the rainy day fund for a one-time investment in infrastructure programs. In addition to the rainy day fund investment, we also need to end the diversion of state highway fund appropriations, which will mean another $1.3 billion every biennium to build road construction and maintenance costs. And what I'm proposing will support critical water and transportation systems across our state. It addresses our needs, both short-term and long-term. Ensure that both water and traffic will continue to flow in Texas for generations to come. none of us can deny the need for these improvements. Water and roads add to the quality of life for all Texans. And anyone stuck out there on I-35 can attest to that fact. It also plays a major role in our continued economic development. Whenever we're recruiting those businesses, Senator, when we're trying to get businesses to move into the state, a chief concern of theirs is ensuring that there's adequate water, there's power and transportation systems for their needs. We've been the nation's top exporting state for 10 years in a row. And for us to continue that dominance requires a clear way to move goods from one place to another. Our success also relies upon the continued excellence of the Texas workforce, and it falls to us to better prepare the next generation for the jobs available to them. And we worked hard to improve our public education system over the past decade, and the results are encouraging. According to the U.S. Department of Education, our graduation rates are at an all-time high, the third highest in the nation. And that represents a significant turnaround from just a few short years ago. But we can't let up. I believe that the best way forward is the way that will provide the most opportunities for each child. Something that I know Senator Patrick supports. Not every child learns for the same purpose. Not every child thrives in the same setting in schools. Limiting a child to just one opportunity does nothing more than limit that child's future. The way forward must involve more public charter schools, which will offer parents a tuition-free alternative to their neighborhood school. Those innovative public schools already serve more than 150,000 students across Texas, with more than 100,000 on their waiting list. It's also time to introduce scholarship programs that give students a choice, especially those who are locked into low-performing schools. And of course, all of that has to be done in a fashion that continues to encourage teachers and administrators in our traditional schools to produce excellent students. In addition to a choice of schools, we should also give students more flexibility in the courses they take in high school to prepare them for whatever their goals may be without sacrificing our rigorous academic standards. Anytime we talk about education, we have to remember that the focus has to squarely be on that specific special interest group. That's our students. We can't stop thinking about new ways to teach, to inspire, to get our children going forward. They're ready to learn. They're eager to use that education to improve their lives. And over the last 5 years, the Texas students participating in college preparatory tests has increased. That's a clear sign, Royce. That's a clear sign that they understand the importance of college education. Most encouraging of all, those figures indicate a significant increase in participation among our minority students. 42% increase in African American students who are taking the SAT than were participating 5 years ago. 65% more Hispanic students. And along that same time frame, you had the rate of Hispanic students taking the ACT doubled. A short time ago, those same students might have felt like a college education wasn't for them. They may have felt discouraged for even trying. Those students are realizing their potential. And they're going to use that potential to change Texas and the world for that matter. And of course, this means that we have to make sure that college is accessible and that it's affordable. 2 years ago, I stood here and I called upon our institutions of higher learning to develop degrees that cost no more than $10,000. Now, there were plenty of detractors at that time who insisted it couldn't be done. However, that call inspired educators at colleges and universities across our state to step up to the plate. And today I'm proud to tell you that 13 Texas universities have announced plans for a $10,000 degree. And I know some of those presidents of those universities and some of those innovators and educators are with us today, and I'd like for you to stand so that we can say thank you for having the courage to put that in place. You know, and one of the interesting things is that idea is spreading. As I mentioned earlier, Florida is developing its own $10,000 degree program. And even California, yes, that California is taking a stab at making these programs commonplace. These are promising developments, but we must do everything we can to continue making higher education an achievable dream for all Texans. And to that end, I've called for a 4-year tuition freeze for incoming freshmen. Chairman Branch, I know that is something you have been working hard on. And this will allow our students and their families cost certainty, as their tuition will be locked in at the rate they pay their first semester for the next 4 years. It'll also encourage them to graduate on time, which is a problem we simply can no longer ignore. Currently, less than 30% of full-time students at our 4-year institutions graduate in 4 years. Only 58% have their degree in 6 years. That's why we should tie at least a portion of state funding, I'm suggesting a minimum of 10%, based on the number of graduates that you have at your institution. We need to encourage these schools to get their students educated, ready to work as quickly as possible. Texas employers need additional qualified workers. And of course, not all of these jobs require a college degree. Many of them require technical certification, and those jobs are among some of the most in demand in Texas today. Last fall, I announced an initiative that will bring industries and our technical and community colleges together to create a statewide model that will enable students to swiftly earn their technical certifications at an affordable cost. Chairman Davis and Senator Birdwell, I know that you all are leading the charge with that legislation that will encourage and incentivize more fast-track programs. And under this framework, an individual will be able to attain certain certification in a high-demand industry utilizing competency-based learning to allow the students to gain credit for skills that they've already mastered. That's the type of innovative solutions that we need more of in the years to come. You see, it's the decisions that are made here, in this chamber, in this building, that are going to determine what Texas will look like 50 years from now. And an example of what I mean, let's take a look at how dramatically, how quickly things are changing in South Texas. We've committed to expanding and building roads in that region of the state, so businesses are finding it easier to transport goods. We've helped nurture and grow a major regional academic health center in Harlingen. We created the Irma Rangel College of Pharmacy in Kingsville, Eddie. Today, the students of South Texas are able to stay closer to home to earn their college degrees. This area of the state is critical to our state's future, and our investments in the children of South Texas will return to us 1,000-fold. That's why I'm calling for the legislature to pass by a 2/3 vote a bill necessary to give South Texas access to the Permanent University Fund. The changes in South Texas, in fact, the changes across our state, remind us that we're living in a fast-moving world and that we'll need to contribute substantially. And we're going to need contributions from everyone to keep up. And I'm proud that Texas is a place where anyone can make a difference, regardless of where you're from or how you spell your last name. During his second inaugural address, President Obama called on us all to work together and do our part to secure a brighter future for America. Well, Mr. President, Texas stands ready to do our part. From our origins, pioneering this rugged frontier, Texans have this long, proud tradition of working together. South Texas ranchers, DFW teachers, from Bay Area shrimpers to West Texas farmers. We are a diverse tapestry of cultures and faiths, and bloodlines, but we are bound by a common spirit, a common lineage that's remarkable for a state so big. Not only will we all work together for the next 119 days of this session, we're going to work together every day in companies and in agencies across our state. We'll work together at places like TxDOT, that's led by El Paso's Ted Houghton, who oversees a team focused on building and maintaining our roads. We're going to work together at the Department of Public Safety, led by Cindy Leon of Mission, Texas, with her well-trained set of professionals who spend every day making sure Texans are safer. We'll work together at the Texas Education Agency, led by Arlington's Michael Williams, who has one of the most important jobs in Texas, educating our children for the challenges of the future. From these great chambers to the governor's office, to local offices in small towns across our state, we are all privileged to do our part to make a better Texas for all. Texas is not merely strong, but exceptional. We are a testament to the power of freedom, to the entrepreneurial spirit unleashed from government interference. We believe these ideals are sturdy enough and strong enough to advance any and all Texans, regardless of race, color, or creed. We embrace a can-do culture for every citizen willing to work hard and pursue a dream. Those ideals propel us forward as we stand as a national example that hard work can breed success, regardless of one's station in life. That freedom is the best antidote to poverty, and that each individual deserves to inherit a state of equality and opportunity. May the work that we do in these hallowed halls preserve opportunity for every Texan. Thank you, God bless you, and through you, may God continue to bless the great state of Texas.